We have a brand new federal court decision just handed down. Here's the Associated Press. A federal judge struck down new regulations governing union elections, saying the National Labor Relations Board did not follow proper voting procedures when it approved the rules last year. Remember this last-minute thing the NLRB pushed through to speed up union votes for union elections? And businesses, including small businessmen, were saying, wait a minute, we don't have enough time to even talk to our employees. This is a rush job. And Obama got this delivered to the union bosses, obviously in exchange for support. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg said the board never had a quorum when it voted on the rules that speed up the pace of union representation elections. He did not address the merits of the rules and said the NLRB could simply take a new vote to approve them. Now, business groups and Republicans had vigorously challenged the rules, which took effect April 30, claiming they didn't give company managers enough time to counter union organizers. Unions contend the new rules curb needless litigation that companies use to stall the election process. But Boasberg's decision focuses only on a technical problem. At the time the rules were approved in December, the 5-member board only had 3 members, 2 Democrats, 1 Republican. Federal law requires a quorum of at least 3 board members to consider new rules. And the judge found the Republican Brian Hayes did not technically participate in a final vote on the rule. When the rule was sent to Hayes electronically, he never formally voted because he already expressed his opposition at a public hearing. But that wasn't enough. So I don't know where this is going to go, but it's a pattern, have you noticed? When they want to make changes, what the left does is they move very fast, where possible, under the radar, to institute processes that do the opposite of what they claim they will do. We want to give the opportunity for more workers to join unions. But we want them to make up their minds really, really fast. Well, wait, they need to hear both sides, and no. And you folks who call here all the time and say, oh, these jobs are going overseas, well, this is one of the reasons. And it's one of many. People don't start businesses to create union members. People don't start businesses to give out health care benefits. Oh, really? Yes, really. People don't start businesses to make Social Security contributions. People start businesses to make money. And if they're going to be punished, whether it's the workforce or the work conditions or it's environmental rules or whatever it is, they're not going to want to continue to do it here, are they? And that's just the feds. When they're done with the states and the localities, it becomes impossible for many of them, or they choose not to participate in it anymore. And it's just amazing to me how difficult it is today to start a small business and to maintain it. The first thing you need to afford is a lawyer before you can afford anything else. Well, 2 things, a lawyer and an accountant. I get all these demands for tax payments from my own county, and honest to God, I can't even keep track of all of them. I have to have a business license because I wrote my book from my house. I have to have some other small business license based on gross receipts, a gross receipts tax. Then there's a tax on my cars twice a year. There's a tax on my office equipment, a 5-year-old computer, a 25-year-old desk. It's not much at all, but I have to fill out the paperwork. I look at my home, there's a tax on the house, on the property. It's a huge tax. On top of that, I have to pay a quarterly federal income tax. If I do anything with my assets, another tax kicks in. I have to pay a state income tax, also on a quarterly basis, depending on what I'm doing. I dread opening the mailbox. I just dread it. There's always some form in there, some tax in there. And God forbid you own more than one property. This is going on every single property or every source of income. Now imagine opening a small business. Just trying to open a small business and attract customers and make a profit. Goods or services in exchange for money. You got all this rigmarole you have to go through. And it takes one lawsuit to shut you down. The ADA. The lawyers love this thing. Because they don't even have to send you a letter to tell you to fix it. You know, the door opening is not big enough for a wheelchair or the steps are an obstacle. They just sue you, and there's strict liability. Whether you fix it or not, you have to pay them to get rid of the lawsuit. I mean, the expense and the risk of opening a small family business today is just unimaginable. And by the way, particularly in the big cities, you open a little pizzeria in New York City, it's a nightmare. All the inspectors, all the rules. I'm not talking about looking for cockroaches, and they're definitely not looking for illegal aliens. I'm talking about the harassment. Oh, the exit sign should be 6 inches this way. That sort of thing. But the workforce, you know. You have a president of the United States. You have his appointees pushing their political agenda, and it's felt right down on the floor of the small business. So we'll see how this turns out on the merits.